Welcome to Head to Heart Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Markham. This bi-weekly podcast is designed to be a safe space to admit what we truly believe in our hearts. We all know the difference between just having biblical knowledge floating around in our heads and actually believing that it's true. Until God's truth makes its way into our hearts, nothing changes. We'll be doing a mix of solo episodes and interviews with friends who have experienced the freedom that comes when head knowledge becomes heart knowledge. We'll talk about overcoming lies in our relationships, mental health struggles, and the way we see ourselves. The truth will set you free so that you can walk every day in the freedom God desires for you. It's time to let go of the pressures, insecurities, and burdens. That's not yours to carry. Thanks for joining us. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning into this podcast. It's the same podcast, same host, new year, new name. So thank you for tuning in. This is a new season. We're starting season 3, and I have brought one of my dear friends on to be our guest today, and I'm so excited to introduce her. Her name is Israel. Go ahead, say hi.
Hi.
That's her voice. And Israel and I have been friends we just talked about this, since like 2016.
Yeah.
So that would be about 5 years, which actually I did not know it had been that long.
Me either.
And we grew up in the same youth group. But you're not originally from Florida. You migrated there.
No, I've migrated everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Ohio because my parents they grew up being gospel singers, so they toured around the country. And so I was born in Ohio because they were on tour. And then I lived in Virginia, and then I moved to Tennessee, and then I moved to Florida. And now I live in Dallas, so that's crazy.
Wow, everywhere.
Yeah.
Especially everywhere in the South. Actually, I have a couple friends from Ohio, and some of them have Southern accents. It's a little confusing.
Yeah, it is weird.
So, Israel, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've lived everywhere. My name means bringer of peace, and my pawpaw actually named me, not my parents, so I'm a little special. And
let's define who your papa is, because no one calls their grandfather their papa.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So my pawpaw is my dad's dad, my grandfather, if you want to be all,
if you will,
technical. And yeah, I call him pawpaw because in Virginia, that's what they call grandpa, I guess. So,
I love that. Wow.
Yeah. You got pawpaws, you got mimis and mamas and all that stuff. and then one of my grandmas, I just call her grandma. So
What?
Yeah.
That's just grandma, don't worry.
Yeah, it's just grandma. I love coffee. Some would say it's an addiction. I call it a passion, whatever. I'm married. I've been married for like a year and a few months to my, I guess, high school sweetheart.
Aww.
We lived in separate states, but we were like best friends all throughout high school. I was actually his wingman for my best friend, and then he didn't like her anymore, so we kept in contact. Anyways, long story short, we're married.
Wow. Doesn't seem like that platonic of a friendship to me.
Yeah. Anyways, he was crazy about me the whole time, and I had no idea because I'm oblivious. We got married in 2020, so yeah, we just celebrated our year anniversary. And I'm also a small business owner. Just started my small business in October of 2021.
Wow, big step. Big things happening.
Big step.
Okay, so Israel, I am so excited for what we're going to talk about today. And I just want to ask you this question and open you up to whatever type of answer you want to say. But okay. What have you been set free from?
I have been set free from depression and having no hope, no joy. And now I do. So God is great.
Wow.
I have been set free from a cloudy mindset and just a very unhealthy mental state. He completely did a 180 on my brain. So
wow,
he's awesome. Backstory. I talked about my pawpaw a little bit, my grandpa, And so basically, he named me. He was very important in my life. He was like a second dad, really. I never really saw him as a grandpa. I he was there for all the high school like dramas, and not like girl drama gossip, but like actual plays I was in
Like the
plays.
actual class, yeah.
Yeah. And really, he was just there for everything. He drove me to school every morning. He taught me how to pray. He was just a very important person in my life, and honestly my biggest hype man, and I just loved him so much. But he passed away in October of 2020. He got sick and passed away suddenly, and honestly none of us in my family were ready for it. He was really like a pillar in our family, and like my dad was adopted by him, and really if you look at my family, like half of us are blood related and half of us aren't because my papa just picked up people who were like misfits and turned them into family. So he was an awesome dude. But yeah, so he passed away, and I didn't know how to act, honestly. He was such an important part of my life, that when he passed away, I lost hope. I was like, what's the point in doing anything anymore if he's not around? And I fell into a really bad depression.
Yeah, it sounds like you were in a place of healthy grieving at first, but then it took a turn to become just a hopeless kind of depression where you just feel kind of stuck and in a funk in a way.
Yeah. So basically, the Lord was like so graceful and merciful to me and met me in my m- messy brain and clouded mindset and depression, and really just lovingly told me like, hey, it's okay to grieve. I'm grieving with you. I didn't even know this is in the Bible, but it's somewhere in Psalms where he's like, he weeps when those who he loves dies. I didn't even know that. Like, I had no idea that he actually feels the same thing I'm feeling. And
Mhm.
grief is like, that is like something that the Lord does. Like, we have emotions because we're made in his image, and he has emotions. And so, like, he was like, I'm grieving with you, but you're depressed because you idolize this man. And so the reason why I fell into this depression was because m- my king on the throne of my heart, he fell because he's human. And my papa was a great man of God, but he wasn't Jesus. And so he couldn't ever fulfill that role in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then after he revealed that to me, just through like every day going to him and talking to him, he told me that he was jealous for me. And I was like, well, Lord, what does that mean? Like, you're not supposed to be jealous? Like, I just grew up thinking it was a bad thing. Then I was like, hold up, what does that mean? And it wasn't a bad thing. And because he said he was crazy about me, like he's madly in love with me. He sent his son to die for me because he loves me, and he's jealous for me. And he said I'm his number one priority. So after the Lord told me about his like top priorities, I evaluated mine and was like, wow, mine are trash. They're not like in line with his or anything really good at all. Like, I was prioritizing man over God and business over relationships. It was just, they were all out of whack, and I was like, well, no wonder my mind was so clouded. um but so anyways, I was like, okay, I have to reevaluate my priorities. How do I do that? And I actually started bullet journaling. And so I would write down my priorities every week and make sure that I'm making time for the things that are actually important in my life, like my relationship with the Lord, my husband, other things. Like, I just made sure that it was all prioritized correctly so I could actually love God and people the way I'm supposed to. And then I realized I'm not the only one who gets overwhelmed by unorganized priorities. My friend Avonlea, you know Avonlea.
I do. I love
Um,
Offline.
she's awesome. Shout out to Avonlea for listening to this. Love you. Okay. She was like super overwhelmed one week. It was like a weekend. She had a super busy weekend. She was going out of the country, like all this other stuff, and she hadn't even written down anything she needed to do. So I was like, bro, let's go to a coffee shop. I'll help you organize it. It'll be good. And so then we went to the coffee shop. I organized her whole weekend. And after that, she was like, dude, this helped me so much. Thank you. And I was like, no problem. You should start bullet journaling. And she was like, no, I don't have time. Like, she's a student, she has other responsibilities. She's like, I don't have time to do this. And I don't even know where I would start. Like, how would I even? I'm not that creative. And I was like, that's a lie. But she was just like, I don't even know where to start in bullet journaling. And so then I did a little sneaky thing and surprised her with a custom journal, like with spreadsheets ready to go every week. She just had to like write her to-do lists on it and trackers and all that stuff, and I gave it to her. And so that is basically where the idea was sparked in my brain to make a business selling journals so I can help other people, because the first step to success is being organized. So
Yes.
yeah.
Wow. That's so good. Thank you for sharing the story. I mean, when our priorities are out of whack, I feel like our whole life as a whole can just feel out of whack. But the
Yeah.
simple thing is to realign our priorities with what Christ wants them to be. And he's obviously first and foremost and on the throne.
Yeah.
So you talked a lot about idolatry, how making a person an idol in your life or a thing. How would you define idolatry?
Idolatry is worshiping something or someone who is created.
Hmm. And isn't the creator.
Right. And I think it's like Jeremiah 1:16. Hold on, let me flip there.
Flippity flip, flip, flippity
Flippity
flip.
flip action. It says they worship idols made with their own hands.
Hmm.
So it's like you're worshiping something that you made, whether it's like, I mean, some people make ministries and they worship those, and some people make money and worship that. In the old days, they literally made like golden calves and bowed down to it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's anything that's created, whether it's a person or a thing, like all people are created by God. And so if you're putting anything before God, it's idolatry, or and it's an idol in your life.
Yeah. That's really good how you pointed out that even the good things that are technically like for the Lord
Yeah.
can misplace him in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like in the church, this is a common problem that people face is once we love someone or something, we suddenly get nervous like, oh, because I enjoy this, does that mean that it's an idol in my life?
Yeah.
I feel like we all question that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you say are some signs that we can pinpoint in our lives that, yes, I am making something an idol in my life versus I just really enjoy something or someone and I'm not idolizing it?
Yeah. So first, I would have to say, what does it actually look like to worship something or someone other than God? Because, like I said, literally in the Bible, they were bringing burnt offerings to calves that were made out of gold. Like, we don't do that today.
Speak for
um,
yourself.
yeah. Well, my bad. But I would say that to find out if you're making an idol rather than like enjoying something, like I enjoy crocheting, but I don't worship crocheting, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, to find the difference and if you're idolizing it or enjoying it, I would say like reflect on what is your thought process on where you're spending all your time.
Mm-hmm.
Because said in the Old Testament it says don't commit adultery, but I say even if you look at a woman, you've already committed adultery in your heart. We're focused on the outward appearance, but he's more focused on and cares about what our thoughts are,
Mm-hmm. And
because
our heart
they
intentions.
right, yeah. And so what we think we do, you know. And so if he can get our thoughts, he has our whole life. And so I would say, what are your thoughts on most of the time? Like, I love crocheting, but I'm not obsessively thinking about what needle do I need to get and how am I going to do the crochet patterns, you know? I'm just like, I enjoy this. I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I aggressively think about the Lord like all the time. I'm like, I want to change the world for Jesus, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I would say idolizing something is spending all your thoughts on it, and enjoying something is just doing it. Like, go to the beach, do it if you like it,
Mhm.
if you're somewhere where a beach is. But yeah.
I also think that with people specifically,
Hmm.
like your papa, like a significant other, like a friend, I feel like in my life, I've started to notice when I am starting to idolize them, if like every filter that I think thoughts through is through that person,
Right.
if that makes sense. Like, what would this person think about this or this activity I'm doing? Or I want to align my schedule for theirs about absolutely everything in my life. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, it's like pushing everything you had planned and putting it on a different person.
Yeah.
And there's like healthy balance, but the obsessive, like, I'm gonna push my entire schedule
Yeah.
towards this person would be probably like a good sign.
Yeah. That is so true. I definitely idolized my papa, and it was like, would this make him happy if I do this? Will he like agree with it and all these things? But I wasn't asking first and foremost, is this even biblical? Like,
Yeah.
would this be pleasing to God? Like, if I truly have given my life to him, it's his. I need to ask the person who owns my life what to do with it, not someone who he created, whose life he also owns. Like, you know what
Yes.
I mean? So,
That's really good. We should just ask ourselves, like, who owns my life?
yeah.
Who is actually controlling my thought process and my decisions?
Mhm.
That's such a good question. You also mentioned jealousy and just the difference between God's jealousy versus human jealousy that we experience. How would you define jealousy, or how would you begin to understand the difference between those two?
Yeah, so okay, the dictionary definition of jealousy is uh to feel jealous. So so I looked up what's the dictionary definition of jealous, and it said feeling or showing envy of someone or their achievements and advantages. And so basically the definition that's given in the dictionary is just human jealousy, because it's focused on self-promoting. It's all selfish. It's like, you have that, I want that. You are achieving something, I don't want you to achieve it because I want to achieve it. So it's very self-centered, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty bad. So that's why I was like, Lord, you're jealous? What? No. um, but to explain human jealousy versus God's jealousy, you have to go to the Bible because, he wrote down everything in there. And I didn't even know this, but actually in Exodus 34:14, it literally says, like, hold on, I'll just read it. It says, you must not worship, or you must worship no other gods, for the Lord, whose very name is jealous, is a God who is jealous about his relationship with you. And I was like, dang, okay. Like,
Wow.
it's not just something that he feels, he is jealous. Like, it's literally his name. And so that's the difference between human jealousy and God's jealousy. Is humans, it's just a fleeting emotion that is very self-centered. And for God, it's literally who he is. His jealousy is selfless and for us, which produces satisfaction. But human jealousy is self seeking, which produces idolatry and disappointment. Like, anytime someone is jealous of another person, it's always disappointing because it's self seeking. But if you feel God's jealousy for you, it's always for you. Like, he knows that every other person or every other thing that's not him isn't going to satisfy you. So he's like, please put me first so that you're never disappointed.
That's powerful. Jealousy in the human aspect, it's like,
Mhm.
because I don't have it, I want to
Yeah.
take it from someone else. And that implies that we are in need, or we feel like we need something. But when I think of God,
Yeah.
he is all sufficient and doesn't need anything. He is the
Yeah.
source of all life. So it's such a different concept, because God's jealousy, He's not like trying to take something from you because he needs it. He like
Yeah,
wants to be in relationship. That's the difference.
that's so good.
You could give any advice to someone who is listening who is idolizing a person or a thing in their life, it just feels jealous pretty often. What would you say is like a few steps for them that they can become free from that, secure in Christ, and then put their priorities in the right place?
Yeah. So first, just the practical little thing, because I'm very practical. Write down things that you think about. Write down your current priorities. However jacked up they are, write them down. And then reevaluate them, put them in their right spots, their rightful place. Jesus is number one, if you didn't know that. And then apply that every single day, whether you don't get it right on the first day or not, it doesn't matter. Keep trying. Keep trying to put the Lord first, and then literally everything else will fall into place. Like I I didn't have the Lord first in my life. I had someone who passed away. And so my priorities were so out of whack. I didn't even know how to love my husband right. And so I was like overthinking my relationships, my jobs, and all these other things. Everything was out of whack because one thing was out of whack. And as soon as I put God in his rightful position as number one, like all of my relationships just melted together perfectly. Like it was so smooth. I didn't have to strive to try to fix everything that I broke. Like it was just God was number one. So everything fell into place. And so I think the best advice I could give is literally choose every single day. Wake up in the morning, whenever you wake up, and tell God, you're number one. What are we doing today? Let's do it together. And reevaluate your priorities if he's not number one.
I fully and completely agree and endorse this message.
Oh, awesome.
Have you even seen the Lord's redemption through this, even in your small business that you started?
So, actually, fun story. I started my business exactly a year after my papa passed away. And what really was just like used to be a cloudy, depressed mindset, God completely flipped around on the anniversary of his passing, and I was able to celebrate with my husband. And so God just completely flipped it around, and he literally turned my morning into dancing.
And tell us a little bit more about your business.
So I am selling bullet journals, 100% customizable to your unique lifestyle. If you work out at 4 a.m., I can put it in there. If you don't work out at all, I can put it in there. So really it's just like planner, but on steroids. It's literally to a T dedicated to your lifestyle. There's no other journal like it. I'll start the journal whatever month you want. So, also just launched stickers and to-do list. It's like, you know, those booklets that you just rip it off when the new day is over.
Yes.
So I made one of those. I personally will have both on hand at all times. They're great together because you can kind of just like word vomit everything you need to do on the little like notepad, and then you can transfer it to your bullet journal. It just makes organizing so much more fun and efficient. So highly recommend both.
If someone were to say, sign me up, I want to buy one now, how would they go and do that?
Okay, go to my Instagram. My Instagram is Israel because I'm cool like
You
that.
should
Just my
spell it.
name. It's Ishriel. That's my name. So that's my Instagram handle. And on the link in my bio, it'll take you to my website, and the website will tell you what to do from there.
Oh, that's amazing. And we also are excited to announce this that we have worked out a code that if you just enter in the letters JENNY15, that's Jenny 15, you will get 15% off of your order from Israel.
Woo woo.
So that's life in order business, baby.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Israel.
Yeah.
I was just so excited to have you come on here and talk about the redemption that God has created in your life. And it even is something that is now worked its way into a business and you're blessing other people through that too.
Yeah, that's so cool. I can't believe I do this.
You're living your dream.
Yeah, I really am. What the heck? Thanks, God.
Wow. I'm so thankful for you. Thank you for being on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Head to Heart Podcast. It's a joy to record them and a joy to have you listen. If you have any topics in mind you'd like us to cover, go ahead and send us a message on Instagram. The handle is headtoheart_podcast. Make sure you subscribe as a way of making sure you never miss an episode. And if you would be so kind, go ahead and leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps out the show so much when you do. We'll be releasing episodes to you every other Friday, so stay tuned and thanks for joining us.